Back here on Balcony Banter. I'm going to try something new every week. John Donovan with Lewis Hatton to analyse the game, Bristol Pitbulls against the Streatham Redhawks. And Lewis, I think it's probably a credit to Jamie Elson and Richard Hargreaves. The standards they've set, that we're standing up here a little tonight, a little disappointed, a little frustrated, because particularly in the second period, the Pitbulls had chances. And if they could have cleaned their game up a little bit in the first period and cut out those silly mistakes, they would have been in this tonight.
Yeah, frustrated is the word we used after the game, throughout the game, in fact. But yeah, that's what I'd stick to. It's, as you say, the first period, they were just not quite at the races. They had the 5-on-4, then the 5-on-3 that they didn't take advantage of, and Streatham find themselves in front 40 seconds after that. Okay, yeah, they did a good job killing penalties in that first period, but they found themselves 2 goals behind, and despite the chances that they made and couldn't finish in the second and third periods, you always felt that once they were 2 goals behind, it was a tough task against a very, very good Streatham side.
I read your excellent match report from Invicta last night. Jamie Elson complained a little bit that the intensity wasn't there right from puck drop. Well, you can almost take that forward 24 hours. It wasn't so much the lack of intensity. For me, it seemed like a lot of respect given. And I can understand that because you're playing the best team in the league and they're a very good team. But we know Pitbulls hockey is all about getting on the forecheck and laying the body and turning pucks over. And that just didn't seem to happen in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, totally agree. Just looked at it all lethargic. Yes, it's a long trip down to Gillingham. We didn't get back to Bristol till about midnight yesterday. So, okay, the players are going to be tired. They were a little short-benched yesterday. They end up being short-benched today with Liam Coleman getting injured, unfortunately. But yeah, that first period, it did just let them down, not getting into the corners, something that second line of Eliash, Warren and Lipsy did really well throughout the rest of the game. Just wasn't there from any of them in the first period, and coming back to it, that's what's cost them today.
Let's do the positives. So I'd say second line, net minding and second period. So let's take the second line first. Absolutely right. Mason Lipsy, maybe that stick's on a little bit cold, but he's still getting in the areas. I thought Eliash and Warren were great tonight as 2 wingers going in, turning the puck over, trying to create some energy, trying to create some chances. Really, when Jamie Elson needs an energy shift, he tends to turn to that second line. Yeah,
and it completely makes sense because, as you say, they bring that energy and they do get in the face of the opposition. Warren was he was a menace tonight.
You can use the line.
It's all right. I'm happy for you to keep your Theo
little
Fleury,
ball of hate.
the Theo Fleury comparison. Whether he do that with maybe Brandon Miles around is a different story. But yeah, he put himself about. He got himself in the face of the goaltender especially, and okay, it didn't amount to anything. That the opportunities maybe that you want to fall to Mason Lipsy fell to Warren and Eliash, and they couldn't quite put the puck in the net. But a good 40 minutes. Well, even the first period they weren't bad in that period, but the 40 minutes in the second and third, they were the best line for the Pitbulls for sure.
Let's not forget John Dibble. He had a great night in Invicta last night, but obviously coverage on FTA Sport tonight. It was a home game, and it was Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry, post-Christmas, is just a different beast. Every game I see him in, he looks confident, he's getting square, he's at the top of his blue paint. And when the Pitbulls need him to keep him in the game, he's keeping them in the game.
Yeah, I think he was up to a .916 save percentage before tonight. I can't imagine that's going to go down by very much, if at all. I think the shots probably conceding 3, probably about right to keep him around .913. So yeah, a good performance from him. The stats back up what the eye test says. He's played very well post-Christmas, and okay, he'll be annoyed that he didn't get that shutout last week, but with a defence with missing a couple of players tonight, with no Stu Bates again, he's edging back to fitness. We did see Sam Schoen very briefly tonight. No Bailey Perry, of course. He stood out in that net. He kept the Pitbulls in that game, 18 shots against in that first period alone, and yeah, he kept them in the game in the first period and just allowed the Pitbulls that hope, and that possibly were a little bit more frustrated because they were in that game, mostly thanks to his heroics in the first period.
And let's talk second period. We say the first period was a little bit messy. You let the Redhawks get away. I thought the third period, credit to Streatham, I thought their game management was excellent. But that second period, there were chances for the Pitbulls. And they needed one to go in. There was an Eliash Warren chance back door that didn't go in. Ollie Schoen had a couple of opportunities. I thought Gregory was good in net. And again, I don't think this means to be an over-criticism of the Pitbulls, but I felt they could have been more clinical.
Yeah, I think that when they got good chances, they didn't find the corners. They didn't make Gregory have to work too hard, and then they just didn't get the bodies out in front of the net like they did last week against Invicta. I think 2 or 3 goals came from either tips or getting bodies in front at the very least, and they just didn't get that tonight. Okay, you've got to give the benefit of the doubt to Streatham. They're a very, very well organised team. Defensively, they look far more organised than Invicta, who came down here last week. But yeah, it's just taking the chances when they come, and it's something that, in particular, those two, Ollie Sean, he'll be I think the most frustrated in that changing room. He had a breakaway and had a couple of other chances. He just couldn't quite get the puck in the net. And again, coming back to it, frustrating night because the Pitbulls were in this game against the best team in the league. So yeah, just dust themselves down and go again in 6 days.
Let's show some respect to our visitors. As you say, the best team in the league. They were only rolling 2 forward lines tonight, but my word, they were good. 2 good forward lines, and of course in Antonov they've got the hottest stick, the biggest poacher in the league. Also a penalty killer, as you pointed out. The man can do everything. What really impressed me about them, though, at this level of hockey, you maybe see the first and second defenseman for most teams being pretty decent, but as you go down that lineup, there are guys who turn the puck over, etc., etc. I thought all 5 men on the Redhawks unit tonight in their own zone, they played the body, they made simple plays to clear the puck out, they boxed out and protected their netminder. There's a reason this is the standard-bearing team in the league right now. Yeah,
absolutely, and you can see the work in the defensive zone that benefited them that the Pitbulls didn't do. There was very few sloppy turnovers, and it's not just the Pitbulls that are like victims, or not victims, like accustomed to making some of those errors. You see it in teams across the league. I mean, the Pitbulls scored a goal last night through a turnover against Invicta, but just was none of that from Streatham. And then you get in the offensive zone, and Farn, he looked good in the offensive zone, and Martley, for a 17-year-old, you can certainly see why he's played a lot of time for MK Lightning this season. He looks the one to be on the lookout for. I believe he's in the GB under-18 squad with Endicott, Russell and Shaw, so he'll be one to keep an eye on in that, and then in GB squads in the future as well.
Let's finish on a positive. Streatham come again in 6 nights' time to the Pound. What I like about the fact is we are disappointed, and that's testament to the team Jamie Elson's put out and what we've seen, the quality we've seen of the Pitbulls. And also, if they can put that 60-minute game together and cut out the errors that we saw in that first period, we could have a different story in 6 nights' time.
Yeah, and it's about turning that frustration into motivation because, as we say, they've been in this game. Streatham know they've been in this game. At one point in that second period, I think I said that if you just watched this period in isolation, you wouldn't know which team had won 20 of 21 coming into the game. So yeah, they've got to turn the frustration of this evening, and Jamie Elson, I'm sure, will be showing them where they went well, where they went wrong, just using that to motivate the team for a 60-minute performance next Saturday night here at what will hopefully be another sold-out Pound.
My final point, actually, Lewis and myself, if you don't watch the commentary back, we were talking, and the guys at FTA Sport do a great job bringing you this coverage. We hope you enjoy our commentary, but if you're watching this clip, Lewis, you and I have been talking about we'd like to do more, and FTA would do more, and I think we're throwing this one out to the Pitbulls fans. What would they like to see? What coverage could we bring? How would they like to interact with their team? So I think we're posing a little bit of a challenge to the fans, and I know you do a lot on social media. We're just looking for some feedback.
Yeah, like we think we have a good product. There's a good product on the ice, a good product off the ice with us up here, and yeah, we just want to be more involved, and we want more interaction from the fans. Obviously, a lot of new fans to ice hockey, and we want to hear maybe what we can do to help them, or even the older fans, the fans that have been Bristol through and through, what they want from us, from the product, from FTA.
And as I said in commentary, the request might just be for me to shut up. So that's what I'm going to do now. My thanks to Lewis Hatton as always, and continue to enjoy our coverage on FTA Sport.